And welcome back. This is going to be the first of a series of unboxing videos that are going to be focused on some G.I. Joe Classified Series figures. What we have here is the Duke and Ram from Tiger Force. Now, if it's not already apparent from what's kind of surrounding him, Duke is without a doubt my favorite G.I. Joe. I was a huge G.I. Joe fan growing up. Probably my biggest toy collection. More than anything else, I collected Joes. I mean, I love the toys, I love the cartoon, I love the comic. I mean, Joe was just my thing. And my favorite Joe was by far, more than anybody else, was Duke. So, when the Classified series started, I needed to, when they put out Duke, I had to have him. And, it's just kind of a thing that I try to pick up all the Dukes that get released. The Classified series for me is a bit of like a nostalgia trap. It's just trying to get you to buy things that, were very familiar to you when you were growing up. So, I get a lot of these Joes for my kids, but the Duke, the Duke I got for me. And this Tiger Force Duke is probably more sentimental value for me more than any of the other ones, because actually my first Duke was the Tiger Force Duke. Tiger Force was like the original Tiger Force was like a series of basically repaints of figures from prior series. For my brother and I, when we first saw Tiger Force, we actually thought it was really cool because it was almost like for us like a second chance to get these figures, these G.I. Joe figures that had come out before that we may have missed. So, for me, my first Duke was actually the Tiger Force Duke because I missed the original Duke. So, yeah, this has some sentimental value for me. So when I saw that they were doing the Tiger Force Duke, I was like, yeah, I got to get that. So with that said, let's get him out and take a look at him. The box art's, it's nice. I don't dislike it. It's just the style of the art, I gotta admit, it's a little bit more cartoony than what I'm used to. I have this small micro figure Duke, and the art is a lot more like the original style of the Joes. I've noticed that with the Classified series, the art's not really consistent. Different characters have different styles of art, which kind of I find that a little off-putting, but this is not too bad. It looks here like Duke just finished blowing up a his tank, which is pretty cool. I guess I should, before we pop him out, let's look at the back. Yeah, just kind of gives you a nice view of, what comes in the packaging. You're getting the figure, backpack, some weapons, a belt, and of course the Ram. The Ram, to me, I didn't have the original Ram growing up. Never a big fan. Actually, my Duke, my original Tiger Force Duke, I used to put in, I can't remember what it was called. It was like a four-wheeled Cobra vehicle that they had repainted as Tiger Force. I'm blanking out on what the name was, but it didn't come with the original Duke, but it was a vehicle that we had bought separately, and since Duke was like my main Tiger Force toy, I used to always put him on it, but I'm just kind of blanking out on the name now. I guess the last thing of note is that this is number 40 in the series because they number these toys. Oh, and then you can also look here that there's some nice art here on the side. It's pretty much in the same style as the art in the cover. It's a little bit on the cartoony side for me, but it's okay. It's not bad. Okay. Anything else in here? I feel like there's something else in the box. Yeah, there's something else in the box. Okay, look, there's like a little mini box inside. All right, I'm actually gonna, my curiosity's piqued. I wanna know what's inside this box. It has the number 40, just like the figure. It says Duke and Ram. Looks kind of like a, oh, I see. It's got it's like a cool little case, and it has like a little thing here to punch into code. That's kind of neat. Nice detail. Now we're gonna bypass that code and use our scissors. when all else fails, just use your scissor. Actually, I don't need the scissor. I can just push here. So I'm wondering what's in here. Okay, this is interesting. What is this? So there's a paper here. Instructions? No, just like warnings. All right, yeah. I think I know how to handle my toys. All right, so some stuff here wrapped in like Cobra wrapping. This is very interesting. I've never seen anything like this before. Cobra wrapping. Well, Cobra and g.i.joe wrapping. This actually reminds me of something else. I feel like it's like a bag of jelly babies from Dr. Who or something. Alright, I have to rip it. Let's see what's inside. This is an interesting way to package this. Okay. This is neat. That's neat. This is a piece of card. Okay. That was cute. Alright, so. Oh, okay, all the accessories are here. So, okay, so his pistol. Some kind of, I don't know, walkie-talkie or binoculars. I can't really tell what that is. He's got his backpack, which I gotta admit does not look entirely like the backpack that the original one had. So maybe this is just kind of like a, you know, creative license or trying to modernize, I guess. And I guess in here, his gun, assuming, yep. Okay, now this, I gotta admit, this does look like the gun that the original Tiger Force Duke brought. Right down to the stock, because I have vivid memories of the stock having this sort of like angle that would kind of like stick out. Can you take out the magazine? No, you can't. So I've noticed that in some of the other classified figures, you can take out the magazine. I'm actually glad that you can't, because honestly, I mean, like I said, I buy most of these for my kids, to be honest, because I got a kick out of the fact that I'm buying G.I. Joes for my kids, and that's something I grew up with. But, you know, kids are kids, and, you know, even when I was a kid, you know, you lose accessories. So I'm actually really glad that this is not one of those guns that you can pull the magazine out, because that's actually something that I don't need. With the RAM, it's actually pretty big. You know, I do like that they went bigger, you know, to this kind of like Marvel Legends size scale. The only thing I don't like about toy lines in this scale is that they never make vehicles because they're bigger, right? So, you know, I think motorcycles is probably all we're going to get from this line unless, you know, they surprise me. But, you know, based on what I've seen of like the Marvel Legends line, which is probably at this point, one of the longest lasting, you know, toy lines in this scale, you don't see vehicles, you know, like, you know, unless it's like one of those like really expensive, you know, crowd-funded things. Like, I saw this like ridiculous thing they were gonna crowdfund like a Ghost Rider car. It's like super expensive. I mean, it's too much money for a vehicle. So, all right, just at first glance, yeah, this is a really good like update of the original Tiger Force Duke. I mean, the colors, you know, look right from what I remember. I think maybe the pants were actually a little brighter. But that's sort of like dark, I don't know if you want to call it olive color. That's pretty much the way he looked. All right, let's get some of these accessories on him, and then we'll take out the bike. So we can fit the pistol here in the holster. Fits nice and snug, I think. See, that's something else that, you know, these modern toys, I mean, sometimes they're trying to make it so fancy, as I say. It's like, just make it functional. Does it work? Is it going to fit? Because one thing that drives me nuts in toys is when it's a character that has a holster and a weapon, and then the weapon doesn't fit in the holster, or the sword doesn't fit in the sheath. You know, if you saw one of my Predator NECA videos, the sword didn't really fit into the sheath, and you know, later on my son actually squeezed it in, and now he can't get it out. So those are things that drives me nuts. Okay, so I see a hole here. I figure that this goes here then. So I'm gonna just pop it in there. Okay, that did fit in very easily, thank goodness. And then out of the backpack. Now here's the other test. Will the backpack stay on? Because I got my kids, I think it was Gung Ho, and his backpack never stays on. And I'm already seeing a problem here. His belt strap here has a sort of like a pouch in the back that's gonna keep the backpack from fitting all the way in. See, it doesn't really fit in. Nope. Now we can try moving the belt, I guess, and see if maybe there's a way to get it. So I guess that pouch needs to land under his arm in order to fit in. Yeah, I guess that's what we got to do. Yeah. So you got to kind of slide the belt so that that pouch ends up under his armpit, which in real life would be really uncomfortable. Like, I could just kind of imagine that in real life he'd be like, ah. And actually the toy, uncomfortably, the arm sits there. So yeah, not digging that too much. They haven't seemed to have mastered the art of making backpacks in this line. Because like I said, my kids have Gung Ho, and that always gives them trouble. It's always falling off. And I forget who, I think it might be Snake Eyes, because they also have Snake Eyes, has like a hole in the belt, and that didn't work out either. So that's a bit of a problem. I mean, I could put it, I guess, like this. I don't know. Over it. I could put the belt over. No, it doesn't work really either. Should put it like that, I guess, where it's just kind of, but then it does this weird thing on his neck, which again I've noticed in some of the toys that my kids have, that these like shoulder belt straps, whatever you want to call it, sit really uncomfortable on the toy. But it's okay. We can deal with it. I can live with it. It's just, you know, if anybody from Hasbro is watching us, take note. All right, we got it on more or less. It just kind of looks a little weird that it's like on his neck instead of on his shoulder, because I think realistically it would sit on his shoulder, not on his neck. But that's fine. There's always one more. All right, now it should get out. There it is. It's pretty big, actually. This is a pretty big thing, a pretty big vehicle here. So let's get this on it. So this goes, there's some holes here, so these pegs go right in. It should slide right on. There's a click. No, it's just kind of push it in. Now, the other big test. Can he write it? Because again, one of the tough things about doing toys in this scale is, like, you know, if you do a vehicle, will he fit on it? Will he sit on it comfortably? So actually, I just noticed there's some pegs there. So I guess you can, you know, put his feet on there. I'm gonna put it there. There, he's ready to ride. Yeah, he's ready to go after Cobra now. Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty darn good. The bike itself, I mean, you know, I'm not a big bike guy, but I think it looks pretty cool. And, you know, I mean, what I'm just enjoying is the fact that they got the paint job very good, you know, with the teeth, which is, you know, trademark of Tiger Force. Like, I remember having the, I want to say it was called the Tiger Paw. Now that I think about it, I want to say it was called the Tiger Paw. That's what I think it was called, that I used to put my Duke on. And it had, you know, the teeth motif with the eyes. And all the vehicles had them on the front. Like, I remember that there was a repainted Rattler, which, again, for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a repaint of the Rattler. And again, it had the teeth, which was perfectly fine for an 810. That actually makes sense. And there was also the other vehicle that we had from Tiger Force growing up, and I'll allude to it in a subsequent video, is we had the Tiger Fly, which was Rakondo's helicopter. But yeah, I gotta admit, this is really cool. I actually really like this. This is satisfying my nostalgia trip very well. And I'm really glad that I got, you know, both the Wave 1 Duke and now the Tiger Force Duke. Now, what would I want next? I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, it's kind of an open question. Like, what do they want to do with this liner? Are they just kind of redoing the 3.5 scale in the 5-inch, or are they gonna like do entirely new figures? I don't know. I mean, I want to see a mix of both. I wouldn't mind some more of these like real classic looking figures. You know, this Wave 1 Duke, of which, you know, Tiger Force is a repaint of, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of in the middle, right? It's very Dukish, you know, like when you compare it, like, actually let's compare it to this Reaction Duke, which is trying to look like the Duke from the cartoon, The Real American Hero, which in turn was basically a commercial for the toy. So it's meant to look like the original toy. So, I mean, they got the overall look right. You know, I mean, he's got the green pants. These are darker, these are lighter because it was the cartoon. You know, he's got the sort of same colored shirt with the belt, the shoulder belt. So, I mean, they've got the overall look, the classic look. I mean, just the thing to remember about the original Joe toy line is that when characters would come back, when they would revisit it, the next one was different. You know, like I had a lot of Dukes in the original line, but they weren't all just variations of this. Like, you know, I remember the Battle Corps one was different, and obviously the Star Brigade one was really different. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what they do. But for right now, Tiger Force Duke gets an A+ from me. So thanks for tuning in, and in our next video, we will unbox another G.I. Joe Classified Series toy, and we're gonna do the Cobra Viper. So tune in next time.